welcome back. We've been talking about human trafficking and trying to take an in-depth look at this very complicated issue. Now, one of the things that happens with survivors is that they are often criminalized because they're forced into this world, and that criminal history can stand in the way of housing and job opportunities. Now, I have Lisa Garcia from the Life Crisis Center and Kristen Schultz from the Wicomico County State's Attorney's Office, both to talk about how these agencies work to help those survivors. So, Lisa, I am going to start with you. How does the Life Crisis Center help victims of human trafficking in terms of that criminal history that sometimes they're left with?
So one of the things that we do is we direct them to lawyers that can help them remove those charges from their record. And with that, they can get housing, they can get jobs, and they can be able to go back to society.
Okay. And so, Kristen, how does your agent, well, you're not really an agency, so to speak, but your department, how do you work to help people who have been victimized really a couple of times, it sounds like?
Right. It's very difficult. We have to remember that when these survivors come to us, they rarely have documentation. They don't have a driver's license, they don't have a passport, they don't have a social security card, they don't have housing or a primary care physician. So these are all the sort of life skills things that they need to be built up as a person. Mm-hmm. And so we're able to refer them to wraparound services and agencies and nonprofits that can provide those things for them. There's some really great nonprofits right now out of Baltimore City that are working with trafficking victims to have their prostitution and related convictions expunged so that they're able to get jobs. The Department of Social Services does a great job working with victims in order to get them licenses and social security cards. And then our office has our own victim witness coordinators who also assist the victims through all those processes as well as the court process.
Wow, victims witness coordinators.
Yes.
Okay, that's amazing. That's amazing. One of the things, as I was researching this, because again, this is a very big issue, there's lots of facets to it. I'm just amazed that so many people are affected by it. Thousands of people, 600 to 800,000 people in the country alone. And I think that so many people just have the impression that it's always about sex trafficking, and that's not necessarily true, right?
Yes, it is.
So tell me about how the victim is not a typical, there's no typical victim is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, there's no typical victim. They're not just teenagers, children, they're also adult females, adult males. My first client that I work with, he was an adult male, and it wasn't a sex case, it was labor trafficking.
Wow, wow. So that's really interesting because of the region that we're in. We have a lot of people coming to the area working as migrant workers, a lot of communities that are English as second language.
Yes.
So I would imagine that those populations are very vulnerable.
Yes, trafficking does not have sort of a definition of a victim. It crosses socioeconomic boundaries. It crosses gender boundaries. It's hard to spot a victim, but certainly individuals who possess language barriers, individuals who are having those struggles are more susceptible at times to the trafficking world and to being lured in by the trafficker.
Mm. I know that we touched a little bit on how people can avoid falling victim to this particular crime, but is there anything that you think, if you find yourself in that situation, what's maybe the first step in getting out of it? What would you say?
We'll be asking for help. Earlier, it had been mentioned to call law enforcement. Usually, victims of human trafficking do not have a cell phone with them. So if you see someone outside, like if you're outside, just ask for someone to call 911, because if you don't have the way to contact the police by yourself, someone else could get you the help that you need.
That sounds like really good advice. How about you? What would you say the first step would be?
I think patience is the first step, because these victims, they don't have the things that, they don't have a phone, they don't have a license, they don't have all those things. And so they may not report immediately. They may not report to somebody they don't trust. They may not report to law enforcement. You might have to find a social worker or someone to come in. So it's patience with them. It's not giving up on the fact that there's red flags up and we want to figure out what's going on with this person. So, you know, it's a group effort, and everybody has to be patient with them because you're asking a lot of the victim to trust somebody they don't know over their trafficker who they know quite well.
That sounds reasonable. Now, coming up, and thank you to both of you for participating in this segment. We'll be back in a few minutes to explore this issue further.